One of my many favorites. Got some buffalo up ahead. Look at these guys. Beautiful. Just gonna stop here for now. Fantastic. Get a little bit closer to them again just now. For the moment I can just see about 4 of them. Big male buffalo or bull buffalo. That one scratching his cheek against the other one's back. Typically refer to these guys as dugger boys, meaning big mature males hanging around these small little bachelor groups. So far I've seen 4, I think I can see 5 now. Maybe even 6. Okay, we're gonna go a little bit closer again. They're nice and relaxed, especially these big buffalo bulls. And they're not too bothered by vehicles. They're just having an easy morning. Probably still having a bit of a lie-in, if you want to call it that. I think at least 6 of them. Makes all of this so exciting. Driving down the road, all nice and quiet. And what do you know? Big 4-way junction. Roads going in all directions. No one's come past here yet today. And there they are. A couple of big boys having a rest. Nice and quiet. I'm going to move one more time, just a little bit more. Get a nice look at them. Look at that. A little bit in the shadows there, but there's an oxpecker right on his nose. The bird might fly off just now. He'll probably shake his head to chase it off. A red-billed oxpecker. Checking out his eye. Very tricky to see that bird at the moment with the light. These guys are all very relaxed. You can see they've been taking it nice and easy. Oh no, there's 2 oxpeckers. Just keep looking, I'm sure they'll hop out a bit. Look at this guy. Oh, look at him, he's having a good old rub against the branch there. I love these buffalo there. They all have such a peculiar look about them. They always remind me of these 18 and 1900, back in the 17th and 18th centuries, the judges of those times, those big heavy wigs and them very stern faces. And if you start looking at them individually, all these guys have a slightly different look about them as well. Some horns are wider and more spread out. Some are nice and cold. Look at the guy with his head down there on the far right. He's having a look at us as well. I see what he's doing at the moment with his sort of lip turned up like that. Slightly, not too unusual, but slightly different grouping this, in the sense that buffalo just to his left, or to his right, our left, is a female. Now, I don't know why she's hanging around in the bachelor group at the moment. Typically, females stay in big breeding herds. But she'd urinated there, and that's what he was doing just now. When he lifted his lip up like that, he was smelling her urine. He was doing something called phlegmon. Just testing what state she's in, if she's maybe ready, or sort of if her reproductive state is ready to produce offspring or not. So he was just checking that. Not too bothered by it. Cruising on. Ah. Why stand if you can sit, and why sit if you can lie down? Very awesome. The way the light's falling at the moment, you can actually see the grass lit up against the dark background of the buffalo's face nicely. That's all herringbone grass. Look at the texture of the grass. Little fish bones. And in the part of the horns, you can see the horns beautiful at the moment sticking out. There's the female walking through the back a bit. Those big heavy sections on the front of the horns are called the bosses. Very thick horns, very strong part of the horn, and the bosses on the males are much more developed. The females don't have as heavy bosses. Their horns are more lightweight, more for defense purposes. With these bulls, they actually fight with each other as well. Sometimes more sort of sparring, and other times more serious, depending on the time of year and depending on the bulls. But they use those bosses to push against each other and even ram each other a bit. So that's why it's so well developed. If you were to look into the structure of the horn there, especially on those heavy parts, almost like big honeycombs. So it can take a lot of shock and absorb a lot of shock and protect the brain during these fights. Let's have a look towards the left a bit. This one guy just stood up. All the flies coming off him a bit as well. You can see lots of mud caked into his skin or onto his body. He was probably mud rolling or mud wallowing last night. Pardon me. Always lots of insects around these buffalo, lots of little flies and things, which is why they roll in the mud. Helps them get rid of some of those parasites. And then also those oxpeckers, those little birds that are coming and going. I'm sure we'll see some of them nicely just now. Look at all those insects. Having a look at us. He's not very old bull yet. He's probably about 5-6 years old. Those bosses are just starting to get nice and heavy, whereas some of these other guys are big madodas. Look at this guy that's about to cross the path in front of us here. Big solid guy. He'll probably weigh about 750-800 kilograms. That's well over 1,500, almost 2,000 pounds. Still see some mud in his one horn there. If you look on our right hand side, his left horn. Some mud from wallowing yesterday stuck onto the horn as well. And loads of insects just buzzing around him, all little gnats. Not really bothering him too much, as long as he keeps flicking his tail and his ears, keeps them out of his eyes. They won't annoy him too much, but they will definitely go for a wallow again today.